If you think trust builds slowly, over time, through shared experiences and proven reliability, you're right. But you're also wrong about when it starts. Because by the time any of that happens, the decision has already been made. In the first 3 seconds. This sounds like a motivational speaker's oversimplification. It isn't. It's one of the most replicated findings in social psychology. Within the first moments of meeting someone, the human brain runs an automatic threat assessment. Not consciously, not deliberately, but fast, and almost entirely below the level of awareness. And the result of that assessment doesn't just color the rest of the conversation. It shapes whether the other person is willing to listen to you at all, whether they interpret your words charitably or with suspicion, and whether they remember you as credible or forgettable. 3 seconds. That's the window. So what's actually happening inside it? And more importantly, what can you do about it? The brain is doing something very specific in those first 3 seconds. It isn't taking in everything about you equally. It's running a 2-part scan, and the order matters more than most people realize. First, it checks for warmth. Are you safe? Are you on my side? Do you mean well? Only after that question is answered, does it move to the second check. Competence. Are you capable? Do you know what you're talking about? Should I take you seriously? This sequence was mapped in detail by Princeton psychologist Alex Todorov, whose research showed that warmth judgments happen first and anchor everything that follows. If you're read as cold in the first 3 seconds, your competence becomes irrelevant. Not discounted, irrelevant. The brain has already decided not to fully trust the source, so the information coming from that source gets downgraded before it's even processed. This is why extremely intelligent, highly qualified people can walk into a room and be quietly dismissed before they've said a single word that matters. It's not that they said something wrong. They sent the wrong warmth signal first, and the window closed before they knew it had opened. The reverse works just as powerfully. Someone read as warm immediately gets a kind of interpretive benefit of the doubt. Their mistakes are more likely to be explained away. Their arguments are more likely to be heard out. Their silences are more likely to be read as thoughtful rather than evasive. Competence still matters enormously, but it only lands once the warmth gate is open. Get the order wrong, and the rest of the conversation is fighting uphill against a decision that was made in the first few seconds. Here's where most people go wrong, and it's a very specific mistake. When people feel nervous or self-conscious about making a good impression, in a job interview, meeting someone important, walking into a room where they don't know anyone, they almost universally do the same thing. They shift into what researchers call impression management mode. They think harder about what they're going to say. They rehearse their opening line. They try to project confidence and competence through their words and their credentials. All of this is counterproductive, and here's the reason. It pulls attention inward, toward internal preparation, at exactly the moment when the signals the other person's brain is scanning for are all external and physical. Your posture in the moment before you speak, the speed at which you make eye contact, whether your expression is open or slightly guarded when you first enter someone's field of vision, whether your first step toward them is hesitant or direct. None of these things require a sentence. They're all happening before the sentence starts, which is exactly when the threat assessment is running. And the cruel irony is that the harder you work to manage the impression through words, the more your physical signals tighten. Rehearsed minds produce tense bodies. Tense bodies read as guarded. Guarded reads as cold. And cold, as we've established, closes the warmth gate before you've said anything worth hearing. The preparation was working against the thing it was trying to achieve. So, what actually works? There are 4 things that consistently trigger warmth signals in the brain's first-pass assessment, and none of them require you to be naturally extroverted, charismatic, or particularly good at small talk. First, make eye contact on arrival, not mid-conversation. The moment you enter someone's field of vision, before you're introduced, before you speak, making eye contact registers as open and unguarded. People who wait until they're spoken to before meeting someone's eyes often read as evasive, even when they're simply shy or over-prepared. Second, when the other person speaks first, lean in slightly. Not a full body tilt, just a subtle shift of weight forward that signals you're paying attention. The brain reads this as, "I'm listening," before a single word of acknowledgement leaves your mouth. And that non-verbal signal lands faster and more convincingly than any verbal one. Third, your first words should not be about you. Starting with a question, an observation about the other person, or even just saying their name before anything else, shifts the framing from self-presentation to genuine interest. Warmth detectors are specifically tuned to notice whether someone's opening move is toward them or toward themselves. Fourth, slow your pace in the first 30 seconds. People who speak slightly slower than they think they need to read as more confident, more deliberate, and more trustworthy, even when the content of what they're saying is identical to someone speaking quickly. Rushing signals anxiety, and anxiety signals that you're not sure what you're saying is worth the other person's time. A measured pace signals the opposite. These 4 things work not because they're tricks, but because they're the actual signals the brain is scanning for. You're not faking warmth. You're removing the physical noise that was hiding it. One more thing worth knowing. This isn't just a face-to-face phenomenon. The same 3-second window exists on a video call. The first moment someone sees your face on screen before you've spoken triggers the same warmth assessment. It exists in writing too, where the first sentence of an email, a message, or a proposal runs the same check before the reader decides whether to engage seriously with what follows. The 3 seconds aren't always literally 3 seconds. They're the first available signal. And whatever channel you're on, the brain is running the same scan. Warm or cold, safe or guarded, worth listening to or not. So, back to where we started. Trust does build slowly, but whether it gets the chance to build at all is decided in the first available moment. And that moment isn't one with the right words. It's one before you say anything, with the signals you're sending before your brain has finished deciding what to say. Warmth first, always. Not because it's polite, but because without it, nothing that comes after lands the way you intended to. If this changed how you'll think about the first moments of a conversation, subscribe. Every week, Mind Decoded breaks down one more thing about human behavior that almost everyone gets wrong. And if you missed last week's video on why everything you know about spotting liars is backwards, it's right here.